Do you dream of a perfect city, somewhere with no traffic, plenty of space for pedestrians, efficient public transport, enough green space, and services that are only minutes away from wherever you live? Well, in today's episode of Future Tech, we're going to explore whether AI could be the technology that builds it. In our last episode, we talked about how artificial intelligence is poised to transform the way we build things. We discussed how AI can take a 3D model of a building and adapt its design, making it more energy efficient, beautiful, or fit for any purpose. But what if we took this one step further? What if instead of simply modifying existing designs, AI could be taught to design entire cities from scratch? Could AI become the architect of utopia? Let's dive in. So firstly, what would an ideal city even look like? And secondly, how could AI be used to design it? Well, let's start with the first question. There are obviously many different ideas of what makes a perfect city. After all, people have been writing utopias and dystopias since the dawn of civilization. So when I say perfect, I don't mean some kind of Orwellian superstate. Instead, I want to focus on some simple qualities that most people probably agree make a city worth living in. These include efficient and effective public transport, wide tree-lined streets, and squares full of public amenities, housing that is close to these services, and employment opportunities and buildings that make the most of any natural features of the land. These are the basics, but there's definitely room for improvement, and that's where AI comes in. The possibilities are endless. For example, AI could use data from simulations to design the most efficient routes for buses, trams, and trains to follow, minimizing travel time and maximizing coverage of the city. It could also analyze foot traffic data to ensure that the flow of pedestrians is optimized around shops, restaurants, and other points of interest. By processing huge amounts of data related to the geography of the city, population density, and other relevant factors, AI could design a layout that maximizes green space and minimizes the need for cars. But perhaps the most important thing is that it could do all of this before any work actually began. In other words, AI could simulate entire scenarios based on different decisions being made about where to place roads, parks, schools, and so on. This would save countless hours of time, usually spent on planning and design. Not to mention wasted time and resources spent on correcting mistakes further down the line. Imagine if you could test out multiple iterations of your city before building anything at all. You could see how different design choices play out over time. All of this without having to spend a single dollar. That means that not only could we potentially build better cities faster and more cheaply, but anyone could do it. Because the skills required to design a city today are both highly specialized and very expensive. Only a small number of companies and governments are able to afford them. But an AI system that does all the hard work removes the need for these expensive consultants altogether. All of this might sound far-fetched. After all, until recently, the idea of computers playing chess, was also seen as science fiction. However, several AI systems already exist that are capable of designing buildings and whole districts based on certain parameters. So it's just a matter of time before someone teaches them to design entire cities. And while these programs will undoubtedly be of great assistance, it's also important to remember that they won't be able to fully replace architects and urban planners. Just like a lawyer needs case law and precedents to argue their case, AI needs human beings to program it with rules and objectives. Also, unlike an algorithm, humans can appreciate aesthetics, come up with truly innovative solutions, and navigate the often messy world of politics and lobbying that goes into creating a new development, rather than thinking of it as a replacement for architects and planners. It's better to think of AI as a tool that will allow us to create better buildings and cities. The best part is that these tools are already here. In fact, some of them have already been used by real estate developers and city planners. For example, a company called Citizen has developed a software platform that uses AI to help real estate developers make better decisions about how to use land. Their software allows users to input a range of different variables, such as population density, the need for affordable housing, and the amount of green space required. It then uses machine learning algorithms to generate a plan that optimizes for whatever criteria the user has prioritized. Another company called Spacemaker uses similar technology to help architects and urban planners design more efficient and sustainable buildings and neighborhoods. Of course, these tools are still in their early stages of development. They haven't yet been used to design an entire city from scratch. But given the rapid pace of development in AI, it won't be long before we see some truly impressive examples. So what might these hypothetical examples look like? Well, let's imagine we're tasked with designing a new city for 1 million people from scratch. We know it'll need to be car-free and have a strong emphasis on green space, public transport, and walkability. With the help of AI, we input these requirements and let the algorithm get to work. It spits out a series of images that show a city with wide tree-lined boulevards, plenty of parks and gardens, and a light rail system that runs through the center. It's clear that this is a city designed with people in mind, not cars. And that's exactly what we were looking for. But that's not all. The AI has also generated a series of reports that show us how this city will function over time. We can see how the transport system will cope during peak hours, how the different neighborhoods will evolve, and how the city will deal with climate change over the next 50 years. With this information, we can make informed decisions about whether to proceed with the project as is or to tweak the parameters slightly until we're happy with the results. And all of this has been done in a matter of days, not the years it would usually take. This is just one example of what AI could help us achieve. In reality, the possibilities are endless. What's more, this particular project has another advantage. Since AI is able to process vast amounts of data quickly, it can take into account factors such as the local climate, topography, and the availability of resources. That means that it can design cities that are not only beautiful and functional, but also sustainable and resilient in the face of climate change. In the end, the benefits of using AI to design our cities are clear. We'll be able to create places that are more livable, more efficient, and more sustainable. And we'll be able to do it at a fraction of the cost and in a fraction of the time. So the next time you look up at the skyscrapers around you, just remember that the architects of the future may not be human, but artificial intelligence. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please remember to share it with your friends, and please like and subscribe for more episodes of Future Tech. Until next time.